Hello, welcome everyone. I see you, Andrea. I see you, Hannah. Yes, Joseph. What's up? So, in the first sort of minute or so, just as we wait for people to fill in, just gonna be explaining what we're gonna be doing today. It's gonna be a nice, free-flowing conversation that we're having right now. It's going to be with 5 different people, all former students of Young and Talented, and I'm also a former student myself of Young and Talented, a proud former student of Young and Talented. Shout out to Suzanne. But yeah, we're going to be having a really open conversation about everything that's happening in the world right now, in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement, and you're going to hear some real heartfelt stuff here. It's going to mainly be from the heart, from these young people. Like, we're not just going to sprout information, because it's so important that you educate yourself, so that we can all be people who make a difference right now. But it's also going to be very personalized, and because I know that I was impacted when I saw a video. I saw a video of someone, he was pouring his heart out, and that really inspired me. So we really want to be people who inspire change, and this is one of the ways that we wish to do that. So if you're on board, then put a thumbs up in the chat right now. Let's see, thumbs up in the chat right now, and we'll get started with our first guest. Just as we're talking, just be prepared to listen, be prepared to take the information in and take the information on board, and yeah, I'm excited, man, because it's going to be a really good conversation for us to have, because it's a long-awaited conversation, and you know, like, as I'm talking to myself, I apologize to George Floyd that it took his death for me to finally be able to talk about this, or have the courage to talk about this. And I know that that's the case for so many people. So when we're talking about this, that's why I'm so passionate and I'm so excited to be doing this, because I realize the importance of it, and it's so vital right now for us to not hide behind the screen when we're typing on social media or making posts, but it's so much more impactful when you can see someone's passion through their face, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to stop babbling on, and we're going to invite our first guest. Our first guest is going to be Hannah.
Hey
Hannah.
hey how are you?
I'm alright, you know. How you doing?
Great. I'm good, yeah, I'm pretty good. Hi everyone. Hey.
Sick. While we're having this conversation, everyone, feel free to put questions in the chat, things that I might have missed out that you really want to know from Hannah or any of the people that we're going to be interviewing today. But yeah, and also before we start, mind the snow leopard in the background. I just love snow leopards, and that's why it's there.
That is a cute picture.
It is an amazing canvas. Shout out to my sister who got it for me for my birthday. Cute. But yeah, so Hannah, I just want to know, and for those who don't know you, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? So your name, your age, and where you're from.
Cool. Yeah, so I am Hannah. I am 19 years old, and I'm from Chadwell Heath, which is in Romford, but I was born in Hackney, so I've been in East London all my life, basically.
Brilliant, fantastic. And we're just gonna go straight into it. So if you could sort of summarize how your experience growing up, where you've grown up, has been, how would you describe it?
Well, it was tough, but it was also very good. So if you guys don't know, like, Chadwell Heath and the Romford area, it is very white. Like, it is one of those white areas in Essex, I would say. And when we moved here, I was 1 turning 2, and we were one of the only Black families on the street. So there was a lot of resistance towards that. So people would put up posters saying like, we don't want Black people here. But obviously I was really oblivious to this. Yeah, pretty oblivious to this as a child. And like, it didn't stop even in primary school. So I always say the day I realized I was Black was, I think I was about 5, because this happened all within the same year. There was when you're kids and you like put your hands together, just like on top of each other. I saw my friends doing that, and I realized, oh, my hand's Black. So I turned my hand over because my palms are white. I was like, okay, so maybe this is how I can fit in. And there was another incident where my friend was having a birthday party, but I couldn't attend because I was going on holiday. So I was like, oh yeah, I can't make your party. You know, my mum's already told your mum about it. And she said, I don't think that happened because my mum doesn't talk to Black people. And like, bearing in mind, I was only 5. So all of this was going on. And then again, just feeling different and knowing you're different at that age changes the way you look at life. So you always see yourself as different or not fitting in to society. So yeah.
Wow. So you're talking about when you were in school and you were about 5 years old. Let's fast forward a bit to when you're maybe in your later years in school. Were there ever instances where you witnessed injustice towards other people, and how did you respond to that?
Yeah, actually. So 2 years ago now, just gone 2 years ago, when I was finishing up my A levels, I was on my way back from the library, and there were like 2 police officers, and they were just standing by, and then a Black boy walked past and like, okay, can we search you? And everyone was like, oh, you're gonna get stopped and searched? But they only searched him. And there was a bit of resistance, but it was people like, why is he the only one being searched? And they didn't actually find anything suspicious on him, but they still wanted to keep him because I don't really know police talk, but he matched the description of someone, or something happened and whatever. So they were like, we're gonna have to take you to the police station, and he was just like, but I don't know what's going on here. So they were really forceful. Really forceful. Like, they had him against the wall. They were trying to arrest him. And then about like loads of police officers just kept coming from nowhere. Police vans driving up, parking. And luckily there was loads of people watching this, and everyone was kind of on the same page, thinking, what on earth is going on here? This is one young boy, could have been the same age as me, being stopped. And at this point, he was on the floor as well. So again, given what's going on now, something could have easily have gone wrong when you've got that many people restraining one person, regardless of who you are in society, whether you're a police officer or a regular pedestrian. We need to think about things logically. You know, like, that's unsafe. That is very unsafe. So yeah, unfortunately I witnessed that, but again, fortunately, because
So when you were seeing that, and you said this was about 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So when you were seeing that, how did that like make you feel? Like, what did that do to you?
I was really, really angry. I was very angry because when you know something's unfair and you know you can't do anything to do, like, to change that, but even when you do the bare minimum, that could get you in trouble. So I did film this incident just because I wanted there to be evidence if anything went wrong, because at the end of the day, I felt like his life was at risk with that many people surrounding and restraining him. I felt like I kind of had a job to do that as well, because at that point he just wasn't an ordinary pedestrian. He's part of my community. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the area I grew up in. He wasn't familiar, but at that point that was like a brother, and I had to do whatever I could to protect him. So yeah, I was really like frustrated, and then it kind of ruined my trust with that law enforcement, the law enforcers, because if you're going to treat someone like this, how can I trust you with my life and the life of those around me.
Yeah. Suzanne just asked in the chat, where do you put those feelings, or what do you do with those feelings when you know, when you feel so stirred up? Yeah, what do you do? Where do you put them?
I do things like this actually. Like I talk to people about it because I can't suppress it. I understand the danger of suppressing and not talking about things, and if I can actively change that and not allow that to happen in terms of suppressing my feelings, I can just call someone or I can just text someone and be like, this is how I feel. And even if they don't reply, at least I've, you know, let it out. So I get, like, speaking to people is really great. I also quite like writing it down as well in whatever form comes out, so I can pick up a pen, start writing. If it's a song, it's a song. If it's a poem, it's a poem. If it's just free writing, I guess it's free writing. So yeah, speaking and writing, I guess.
Cool, sick. I have a question about what you're aspiring to be. So yeah, so what is it that you're currently doing or that you're aspiring to do?
So currently I'm at drama school. I go to East 15. I'm studying acting and community theatre. Just finishing up my second year now. And obviously when I graduate, I want to carry on acting, but I also want to be a children and young people's theatre practitioner. So I want to work within that field, create and work with, for and by children and young people. And yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Sick, fantastic. And when you've made strides into that industry, have you felt sort of hindered or almost held back because of your race, or do you not think that that was that has been a problem?
I think it has been a problem. It definitely has. There have been moments, especially at drama school, because if I'm not sure how aware people are, but drama school is very white. It's just like all our institutions. It's based off of white supremacy. So the education system doesn't cater to our needs, basically. So there are points in my education where I'm like, well, I don't fit into this, or I can't do that, or, you know, I don't think it's gonna be good for my profession. It suits my white peers more than it suits me. However, I think one of the things that has kept me going, besides the people like my black friends and my non-white friends at drama school, has been knowing that there are people like Suzanne and Roy and all these wonderful people that taught me when I was young and talented. Because I strongly do think if I wasn't taught by these people, I would have thought that this industry and everything is not the space for me. And I don't know if it was Suzanne's intentions to have like a majority black teachers, but it really works if it was intended, because seeing people like you do what you want to do is so important. And that's the importance of representation, because when I'm at a drama school now, I've not been taught by a single person of color. Like, everyone's just been white, mainly white middle class men, doing the things I want to do. And to see that they're still running that industry is kind of like so where do I fit into this? But then knowing that I've been given these amazing role models outside of drama school, I'm like, yeah, those are the people I'm going to look to in whatever I do. They've made it. They're at like an amazing place, and I can do that as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. Big up yourself, Suzanne. Big up yourself, Roy.
Yeah.
Big up everyone who taught us at YNT.
Exactly.
You guys are absolute heroes. So we've got another question in the chat. It says, what do you think the arts could do to support this matter in the future?
Oh, okay. So one thing that came into my mind recently is they could do less talking and more action, because since I've been aware of race within the industry, so I'm going to say in the past 3 years, there's been a lot of discussions and a lot of, let's have a panel of people talking about diversity just to show that we're doing something. But you can see now that we don't want to talk anymore. We want to see things. And it's fine that you want to, talk about it, but there's going to come a time when you're going to have to do something about it. So if we're at these panels 3 years ago saying, you know, you need to do unconscious bias training so that when you're casting because they're a good actor, not because they look, you know, because they look like they can do the job or play the character. And it's like, great, so you've had that discussion 3 years ago, but in 2020, how are you applying that to the theatre world and other platforms of theatre? So again, because I want to work with children, you see a lot of like theatres and theatre companies going out working with young people. But what young people are you working with? Are you working with middle class white children, or are you going to lower income areas where the children are majority children of color, you know, because they're less likely to have access to theatre. Do you know what I mean? And if you really want to help, if you really want to make a change, you're going to have to do stuff like that. You can't, you know, keep things in one bubble. I think that's the problem. We keep it in a bubble, and then when we expand it, something different, when really and truly, we're all one human race. So it should be for all of us.
Listen, right, everyone needs to fill the chat with fire emojis right now. After Hannah just said all that, yeah, you need to fill the chat with fire emojis right now, because that was so spot on. That was so spot on, man.
Thank you.
So specifically to the phrase Black Lives Matter, when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
It means that we matter. Our lives aren't disposable, and we are not political tools. We are not our culture, who we are, our identity isn't a political playground or a cultural playground. You can't take what you like from us. You have to take everything, and that includes our lives, our spirits, and our souls. We matter. We are just as important as all of these people you've got on statues, because I've never seen a black person on a statue in London. You know, we matter enough that I should be able to turn on the TV and see someone like me. I should be able to go to the theatre and not have to look for a theatre that has a black show on. I should be able to go into the West End and see someone that looks like me on stage without trying. And yeah, that's what it means to me.
Sick, so sick, so sick. I have a question here that's about social media. You know that social media has been very active over the last 2 weeks, and my question is, how important do you think social media has been to the movement, and what role has it played?
Well, I think it's been very, very important. You know, I think with people posting, there's so much information out here. Like my Instagram feed has gone from selfies to like how everyone can help change, where to donate, what to read, how to educate yourselves. People have been posting links where you can donate and sign petitions, and so many petitions have been signed that so many laws have been changed. And even here in the UK, you know, they're reopening cases because people are signing petitions. And I do believe that social media has played a massive part in that, because I don't think that if I deleted all these social media apps, I would have seen all of this. You know, there are a lot of things that have been brought to my attention because of social media, things that the mainstream media has tried to, you know, just blow over, and people on social media are like, no, we can't forget this. I've learned a lot too, and I think everyone, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure everyone's learned something and has been able to do something to help because of social media.
Sick. And this is my final question for you, but if anyone's got any questions in the chat for Hannah, then fire away, and we'll do our best to answer them. So Hannah, my final question to you is, you mentioned about people like signing petitions and donating and stuff like that, but you also mentioned the importance of educating yourself. Why would you say that educating yourself on this issue is so important?
I think education is very important regardless of what it is we're learning about. But with this specifically, the media, so like the news outlets and whatever, are going to portray the people who are fighting against the system as thugs or unruly and just these just negative stereotypes. But we need to understand why things are being why this system is being attacked. We need to understand the history of the country we're currently living in, because I remember studying history. I studied history up until A level, and you go straight from like the Tudors to the Victorian times, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's just a gap that you miss, and it's like, okay, so what actually happened here? When we learn about, you know, the slave trade, and also another thing to educate yourself, slavery is not not the only thing about Black history, which I think is a massive misconception. So, but going back to that, if we look at the role the UK played in slavery and the slave trade, we will understand that they are not innocent, you know, and there's rightful anger and there's rightful frustration within us and our ancestors and the people currently fighting, because people weren't taught about our history, and the government or just the system itself pretends as if nothing happened, and that this anger is just because someone died. And yes, we are very angry that George Floyd's life was taken, but it is because of the system that oppresses us, and we need to understand how that system oppresses us. And it goes back years. But honestly, you can watch it in one 10-minute YouTube video. You can read books about it. So many resources out there that can tell you what actually happened. And yeah, it's I can't get it all out in this Instagram live, but so much happened. There are many reasons why people are protesting, and it's not just the death. The death is very important, you know. George Floyd died. However, we are basically attacking the system that murdered him.
Yeah. Well, Hannah, for joining and being so open, so articulate and informative. I think that so many people have learned so much already, and you're only the first person.
Yeah.
I think we've got one question. It says, so many celebrities have stayed silent throughout all of this. Does this make you see them differently?
Yes, but no. I would say yes, because there is an expectation when you've been given such a big platform and you know the status you have, you can use that status to do something, but you're staying silent. And that's why I think people say silence is violent, because you can educate like millions of people, but you refuse to. But the reason I'm reluctant to say that I've seen them differently is because they might be using this time to be educating themselves. And I'm saying that lightly because everyone, I don't want to like put my trust in that all of them say that they're all doing this. However, they can be learning. Like, there was an incident with a transgender woman. Her name is Monroe Berghoff. I think I said it right. And 2-3 years ago, she got kicked off the L'Oreal campaign, L'Oreal, the makeup branch, for speaking out about racism. And 3 years later, they've apologized to her and have said, we want you on our diversity team to help solve this issue. So that's the reason why I'm reluctant to say I look at them differently, because I don't know what they're doing in this time.
The conversation doesn't stop there. And we're going to continue now with our next guest, who has just joined. Welcome. Zach. Zach is next. Again, another brilliant former student of Young and Talented. So excited to have him on. Really enjoyed Hannah on. So thank you so much, Hannah, for coming on. You were absolutely amazing. But yeah, let's welcome our next guest.
What's up?
Yes, bro. Yes, what's up, man?
How we doing?
We're all good, man. We're all good. I honestly don't know what just happened.
Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, they're not trying to let us progress. Someone must have said, they're trying 5G's trying to not let us be great.
Oh yeah, man. Just
that killed me.
Lock it off, man. Just locked it off real quick. I honestly.
It gets that. Don't worry.
Yeah. But we're back, and we're with Zach. See the bars. I don't rap, so yeah, just don't expect anything else that rhymes in this entire IG.
You
But
could that would be great.
yeah, no, I can't. But again, if you have any questions for Zach, as we're talking, then fire away in the chat, and we'll hope to answer them as best as we can. So Zach,
Yo,
let's get straight in. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, your age, where you're from, etc.
yeah. As you know, my name is Zach. My full name is Zachariah Lavelle. I am a young artist. I'm an actor, director. I write. I dance. I sing. I do a lot of things, and I'm in the process of trying to increase to my arsenal.
Yeah.
So yeah. What else? What else about me? I currently study drama and theatre arts at the University of Birmingham. Been doing that for this first year. I am half Ugandan, half from Barbados, so I'm African and Caribbean. What else about me? I currently have my stepmother and my dad watching this live right now.
Jeez.
Big ups and shout out to them.
Big you guys up. Hello, by the way. Nice to see you. Fantastic. So, just like I asked Hannah, can you give us a little bit of an insight or sort of summary about your experience growing up in school? It could be in leisure. Just what was your experience like growing up?
You know what's funny? Because my experience took an interesting turn in 2012. So I had I originally obviously went to primary school just like everyone else. Didn't have the greatest primary school experience, but it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. I never really fit in quite well. I found myself bouncing between a select few specific friends, and I think the main moment that I discovered a glimpse of who I was in year 6. So I had two things happen to me. I ran for, like, you know, they had the class president type thing. What was it? Prefect or something like that. It was a different name in primary, but I ran for that in year 6 and I got it for the first time. And in that same year, I actually went for our school, which is called St. Mary's Got Talent thing, and I danced and I got through, and I won gold as well. Yeah, so I did I did a freestyle for the competition, and I won. School council, thank you, Joseph. School council, that's it.
Shout out Joseph Robinson, man.
It was bugging me. I'm not gonna lie, it was bugging me, but those two interesting things happened in year 6 for me. So that was like when I first realized two things about myself, which was part of my call to leadership and I found myself in a lot of leadership positions since, or like taking naturally, like feeling like I should be there or in that kind of light, and also my love for dance, and that was like a really thing for myself, and just creative things. And then in 2012 I moved to Uganda for 2 years with my mum, and I spent the next years studying there, which was very interesting. I think that was my first brush with blackness in full force. I'm marching a bit of a later question, I know, but that was the first brush with blackness in like full, like, only time I ever saw white people was when they came on the missionary stuff to the school, came around, where there was someone working with my mum in some sort of, like, because my mum's a pastor, so if there was like a big event, a big like Christian event that was happening, I'd see a few there, but it was like specific faces, and like all the little kids would like rush to them, asking for like toys and sweets and all that kind of stuff. And then I moved back 2014 and joined Buxton School, secondary school. And then I went to Big Creative Academy in 2017. Yeah, 2017, and I did drama and dance for the next 2 years.
Sick, fantastic. So of course you talked a lot about drama. You talked a lot about dance. So what are you like looking to do, like work-wise in the future? What are you aspiring to be?
Now, this is an interesting question I always have to answer, because at first I would have said actor, like fast, and like a couple years ago that would be like a very quick answer for me, acting, yes. So I want to do it, I'm interested in it, but it's been like, I think over this time, especially during quarantine, has been a very interesting time to think about yourself, what you like to do, what you want to do, and really get, it's like a pressure cooker. Like you don't go anywhere, you're face to face with yourself, your house, who you live with, and your some of your biggest fears, some of your biggest flaws, and this has been a very, very, very pressing and interesting time for me. So one thing I have discovered is that I'm very interested in all the other creative aspects as well. I actually discovered more. I love to sing, and I've been doing that. I've been doing lessons with my mentor Caspi and Ajani. I've been doing that. That's been very, very inspirational to me as well, because I've come up with a lot of insecurity, and I've grown up in not so much insecurity in the sense of like I'm not confident, but in myself, lacking confidence in my own abilities. And I've discovered like a lot of if you've ever taught me, big up to YNT, like that's been a big thing, and like you would know, or if you're around me as like yourself, like, as a close friend, you're aware that's one of my biggest flaws in not believing enough in myself, even when other people might believe in me. And so when it came to singing, I was very like, that's the right word, but I was very on the fence about going into it and going back into it. Well, ever since I started, like I just can't stop now, so I'm just gonna like keep going through that. But I think my biggest interest at the moment in regards to like this near future is definitely to make some great movies, but also bring an element of confidence into the younger generation. You know, essentially, I just want to bring an element of confidence into younger people, and especially into younger generation. In future, and wherever that may be, because again, like I was saying, I have a lot of different things I enjoy doing. So wherever that is, I definitely just want to make sure that it's to do with empowering youth.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick, man. Sick. We love people who always want to almost look past just living for themselves, man, and they want to always do things for others, man. We love it. We love it. So can you talk to me about your first experience with injustice, whether it was towards yourself or towards someone else? What was that like?
I'm trying to think my first brush with it. I can't specifically pinpoint anything that happened. I've been one of the lucky ones to find us as a specific few growing up, and especially in the area that I've grown up, as I haven't ever been stopped from search myself, or I haven't experienced much. I think the deepest for myself would be definitely recalling the norm of being followed around in a shop. I think there was a time where there was a call, especially after schools in year 11, I believe, where there was a call, can't be huddled around with you and your friends. I think that was one of the biggest things I can remember myself seeing, that because of my skin color, because of the nature of what you lot see, I can't just be with my friends. And there was obviously a big group of us, and I'll choose out of the 10 of us who's going to chill with who and where we can meet up, and I'll strategize. And now, like, these are like 16, 15-year-old young black boys that are having to strategize how they can just chill together and go sneakers, or just go into Westwood and chill. So that was one thing that was big.
You're an absolute G, and thanks for joining us, man. Honestly, thanks for joining us. All right, peace. Awesome. Okay. So, I pray and I hope that everything is cool for our next guest, because our next guest is Ella. Again, another former YNT student. I don't think I need to keep saying this because every single person is a former YNT student. But yeah, so let's bring Ella on without further ado. Hi, Ella.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good. This is actually crazy, you know, because it feels like I haven't seen you in ages.
I know, it has been ages.
It's been time. But I guess we just get straight in. So
Yeah.
so can you start with telling us a little bit about yourself, your name, your age, where you're from, etc.?
So I'm Ella. I'm 18 at the moment, and I am from East End of London, but my dad is Antiguan and my mum is British. So I come from Antigua.
Big up the Antiguans, mate. I'm Antiguan as well, man. I'm half Antiguan as well, so.
I've just finished A-levels. Corona kind of ruined all that for me, but we get on with life, and I am starting to work for my church in September, so I'll be doing a year of ministry there for Hackney next year, which is exciting.
Sick, awesome. So I want to know. So of course, everyone's been seeing it everywhere on social media. It's the statement Black Lives Matter. But I want to know, what does that statement mean to you?
Black Lives Matter. It's quite interesting actually, because I was at the protest, and as we were saying that the other day on Saturday, I was actually going, Black Lives Matter, what does this actually mean? And my whole question throughout this is, what does being black mean to me, and what does being black mean to an individual? And it's been a question, I think, from the start of lockdown for me, because it's just, Black Lives Matter means to me that lives that are in danger, lives are in danger just because of the colour of someone's skin, that need to be able to be stopped. Like, these are lives that, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, because people go, oh, more white people were killed in America, more white people were killed by the cops here, blah, blah. But then you have to look at the statistics, and then you go, right, okay, so there are like 6 times or 4 times more white people in America, but there's a disproportion of the black community that are constantly being written off, killed, just treated like absolute dirt. And it really affects me, because I think as well, I had been in a fortunate position where my course in history, we did a course which was like Britain throughout the ages, and we did one that looked at people going on through change, and people, and how power to the people, essentially. So we got onto the slave trade, essentially, where we learnt about that. And this has went totally off the question, but I'll come back to answering what Black Lives means to me. So I kind of learnt like the start of the abolition movement with Granville Sharp and Olaudah Equiano it started really in 1781 with the case of the Zong. And I've been very fortunate that my school decided to do this, where I got to learn all this, and I can be like, look, I understand this. And then the slave movement didn't start until 6 years after that case, and I really encourage people to go and go look up about the massacre of the Zong and how that's started a load of these abolitionists and moved to free slavery. I think Black Lives Matter because Black lives have done so much for other people as well. Even the abolition of slavery led to people wanting more rights in their workplace in the UK. Like, it kicked so much civil rights movements for everyone across the country. And I don't think people realise that. Like, before the slave trade was abolished as well, we still had children working in factories. They were children being just not treated well either. And it was just like, once we freed slavery, then the working class people were actually allowed to question, look, they've been freed, they've been given some privileges, why are we still in this situation as well? And it's just the fact that we need to acknowledge that Black lives allow people to do so much stuff, and Black culture and Black people influence so much of our day-to-day life, and we don't even realise it. And that's what Black Lives Matters to me, is just realising how much Black influence we have on our life in our day-to-day thing. And it's just like, if you look back at Africa's great history as well, you look at how civilized they actually were, and they weren't these ravenous places which we get described when we get taught it in history sometimes with and they're just things that people came up with in order to excuse colonizing Africa, and it's like really, it pulls at me sometimes when I learn and when I think about it. But yeah,
listen, everyone in the chat right now, drop the word knowledge, because knowledge is what dropped. So everyone needs to drop the word knowledge in the chat right now. Wow, that was incredible. And we've got a follow-up question from the chat. How did you feel about learning about slavery at school, and were your teachers knowledgeable?
So I went to a school in Southeast London as well, which I think is key to understand as well. Because in Southeast London in Greenwich, so my school was predominantly black in my year anyway, so I always saw black excellence. So that's one thing, is when I went to a school in Chelsea, for example, that kind of, you could count the black people in one hand in my year group, whereas when I went to school in Greenwich, there was just a load of black women always excelling, because I also went to an all girls school, and so it was like, I think the teachers understood that they needed to cater to us as well. And I remember one lesson, one of my English teachers, who was white, going down and just going, look, girls, you have to understand that when you go into the working world, you will have to work harder for it. And the Ursuline sisters, yes, indeed. And I think the way it affected me at school was allowing me to, it really fired me up politically, actually. And I think that is thanks to my history teacher as well, because my history teacher really pushed us to be for the people and to have that knowledge. And he always was like, I mean, he wouldn't feed his political ideals to us, but he made it known what who he supported. And I think having that, he didn't really have a biased view, and he grew up as well. He went to the same school as Stephen Lawrence as well. So I think that and he was like, he was in year 7 at the time when it happened, but he was just like, everyone knew in the school that it went through, and it's like, it's important that you know this. And I just think as well, my mum's always drilled into me that knowledge is power, and I've always seen as knowledge as my step into the next thing. And I feel like by learning about the slave trade and what it led to next, and all the kickstarters to it, and like how it affected the 1960s when the Windrush happened and people came over, and then you have the Brixton riots in 1981, I believe, and it's just like how everything affects everything. And I just think knowing history is so important in order to move forward.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Couldn't agree with you more. And so then my next question for you to be would be, once everyone has educated themselves or in the process of educating themselves, what would you say that people with that knowledge, or how can they use their influence change?
I think it's empathy. I think my biggest way that you can create change is by trying to not walk in someone's shoes, but I think for me, reading stories and listening to people's stories. And I was talking to someone today actually and telling them my grandma's story of when she came over to the UK and why she did, and what life was like back in Antigua when she was 16 and everything. There was like, listening to stories like this really humanize what's happening. And I just think the more we talk and the more we discuss and the more we have these open discussions with one another, the more we kind of humanize the subject, and people go, this isn't just people on a screen. This just isn't a bunch of people screaming. This is actually someone's life. This is someone's story. This is what affects them to their day, like on a daily. And I just think by knowing it's so, I think these stories are so, that's why I also have so much love for what Young and Talented does, and for what we've been brought up in Young and Talented to do, is to tell our story. Do you get what I mean? It's like to tell our story and to make it known to people, because that is how we're going to make a change essentially. And that I have such big love for theatre and it films, documentaries, all that, because I think even Noughts and Crosses recently, like I was so blessed that I got to work with Noughts and Crosses, like when we did with National Theatre, and then it came out on the BBC. It was like amazing, and it's just like they're just like, it just fires you up to make a change. And it's so weird because all of us have said that we're going into like youth work, and I'm like, oh, I'm working with youth this year because I just want to feed back into the youth and make it known to them that you know if you don't see someone reflected you or your story told, be the first to tell that story.
Thank you so much, Ella. I'm gonna have to move on to our next two people. However, there's one thing significant that Ella put already. Ella, if you could put the whole quote in the chat, that'd be sick. But she said that you need to be the first to tell the story, or be the first to tell your story. That is so important. I think that's definitely something that we can definitely take away, because that was a banging point. Because you saw my reaction to it, and you were like, you saw how excited I was getting. But okay, so moving on to our penultimate person, that is the one and only Joseph Robinson. So we're gonna invite him in right now. Well done, Joseph. How you doing?
Hey Jay, what's going on? You okay?
I'm alright, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. Big up to everyone who's in the chat. Hope you guys are good. And yeah.
Yeah, man. Not gonna lie, this is so strange because I was with you like 2 hours ago.
I know.
But so let's just get straight into the topic. So can you start by telling us all a little bit about yourself, your name, your age, where you're from?
Cool. So my name's Joseph Robinson. I'm 19 years old, and yeah, I'm from Waltham Forest, which is in East London. But my mom is British, but her parents are Jamaican, and my dad is full-on Jamaican. So whenever people say where I'm from, I just say Jamaica because it's the best country in the world. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, I'm British, Caribbean. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. And what has it been like for you growing up, man? What has your experiences been like?
Well, first off, I want to say that I have two of the greatest parents I could ever ask for. You know, they've always supported me, believed in me, and also instilled in me, you know, that, you know, you can do anything. Don't let anybody define you. And they've also instilled in me a great, not just spiritual pride, but racial pride in me, that, you know, the color of your skin is not a weakness, but it is a blessing. And yeah, growing up, I was interested in acting, in music. Funny enough, my first experience in acting was at 9 years old, where my local theatre in Waltham Forest was having a play for young people about the Empire Windrush, and they were just getting young people in the borough to like be a part of it. I initially didn't want to do it because, you know, I was at that age where the only thing I cared about was football. That was it, you know. And I didn't want to go, but my mom insisted that I went. It was every Saturday morning. I was like, oh, mom, don't want to go. No, I want to be a footballer. And and initially, you know, the saying, mother knows best, you know. Yeah, like I went, and this was like, I was 9 years old, so like year 4, year 5. And the first time I did it, I really had like I didn't have a main role, but my love for acting literally grew on from that point. Second year I did it because it was like an annual thing. I ended up getting the lead roles, and what people liked about me is that not only could I remember all my lines, but I also remembered everyone else's. Like whenever people forgot their lines, I was like, yo, your line is this. And yeah, and all throughout secondary, like music and acting was what I was passionate about. secondary wasn't easy, you know, it wasn't easy, but dealing with lots of stuff like bullying and that, but acting was yeah, big up Creative Culture Club, Suzanne knows. Yeah, like secondary school wasn't easy, but drama was definitely my escape, definitely. And yeah, I'm still doing it to this day, thank God. And yeah.
Sick, man. Absolutely brilliant. So I guess my next question is, what does injustice do to you? Like, what does it personally do to you? Like, how does it make you feel?
Well, seeing injustice towards anybody, you know, it's like, obviously it does kind of like, you know, make me feel a great deal of like sadness and you know, sympathy, because coming from a place where I know how it feels to be like, you know, rejected, isolated. I know how it feels to like being torn down. It's not a nice feeling, and when I experience it with other people, it's like, you know, I wouldn't want other people to go through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So seeing injustice of any kind definitely saddens me, particularly when it has to do with race. And given that, you know, for the past 400 years, we have been taught that, you know, Black people are just at the low end of the totem pole. Anything that has to do, any injustice that where race is concerned, you know, really hits me more, because I'm proud of being Black, but I wasn't, you know, I didn't opt to be Black. And the fact that we are being oppressed due to the color of our skin, when there's nothing wrong with our skin and we didn't choose to be, you know, part of the race we were born into, it just saddens me, really.
Yeah, that's real, man. That's real. So my next question is, I saw in your Instagram, and we spoke about it today, that you were at one of the protests.
Yeah.
How are the protests? Just speak more about how was your experience during the protest?
Literally, given that it was my first time ever going to a protest, it was one of the greatest memories that I've had. What I loved about it is that it was mainly young people, and for too long they've been looking down on the young generation, talk about, oh, we have no morals, or we don't care about anything, we don't stand for anything, only thing we care about is social media. And that
young people coming together and really showing that we're better than just the sort of online generation that people you know believe that we're just
100%.
you know, that we don't care about anything, and that young people are lazy and they expect success without doing anything. But that was a very emotional and amazing demonstration that young people are willing to work hard for change.
100%. 100%.
Which is absolutely awesome. So I want to address a term that is used on social media a lot, and it's when, like, I see like a lot of celebrities putting the words Black Lives Matter on their page, but they get a lot of comments that say all lives matter. What would you say to those people who believe that who believe in the all lives matter? What would you say to them?
Well, one thing I would say to them is that we have never said that all lives didn't matter. All lives definitely do matter, but we are saying Black Lives Matter because after 400 years of oppression, we've reached a point now where something needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Certain dialogues need to be had, certain people need to be educated of why everything is happening, why everything is the way it is. It's not by accident, it's by systematic racism, and it's by everything we see was built on the backs of slavery. You know, my ancestors, your ancestors, you know, they helped build the society in which we are in. You know what I'm saying? People who say all lives matter are just basically doing everything they can whether it's subtle or whether it's just blatant racism, that they want to take their attention away from what we're trying to have. And all we want is equal opportunities and equal protection under the law. But based on the videos of George Floyd, we have not been getting that. You know what I'm saying? One thing we need to remember, they did not prosecute because they saw it. They prosecute because we all saw it. You know what I'm saying? So people who say all lives matter are really, really missing the point here. You need to realize you're missing the point. You know, obviously, for the past 400 years, if you look at the history, we have been treated like our lives did not matter. You know what I'm saying? So now we're at a time, you know what, we need to change. And Black Lives Matter today, Black Lives Matter forever, you know, because we've been oppressed, and this generation ain't really standing for it no more. That's what I would say to somebody who says all lives matter.
Sick, man. I totally agree with you. Let the chat go with fire emojis, because that was fire, that was flames, but it was also from the heart, and we can all see that. I had someone on social media, and they explained it beautifully. And they basically said, imagine if everyone's around a dinner table and everyone's got food apart from Bob.
Yeah.
Right. And Bob's like, I'm hungry, and everyone's saying we're all hungry.
Yeah.
While they're still eating their food.
Basically.
And then Bob's like, yeah, but I need food. And everyone's like, well, we all need food while they're still eating their food. And so it's not that all lives don't matter, but it's that for so many years, Black lives have been made to feel like they don't matter and have been treated as if they don't matter. 100%. That's why I'm saying Black Lives Matter.
100%. Yeah. That's a big...
What would have to happen for the Black Lives Matter movement to have done its job?
That's a very, very good question. Very good question, because if you look throughout history, we've been the Black Lives Matter movement. We've literally been saying to the system that our lives matter, treat as such for the past 100 years. You know what I'm saying? And people are looking at this as, you know, okay, this is going from one struggle to the next. But I see all these efforts for Martin Luther King, Malcolm X to now as one effort, and that's for human rights. Basically, that's what it is. And for the Black Lives Matter movement to have done its job, it's definitely educating everybody about why everything is. You know what I'm saying? Why everything is the way it is now, because it's not by accident. Two, definitely that, you know, there's always going to be some type of injustice, but at the end of the day, Black Lives Matter movement, we actually need to look into the future, and we need to be constantly, you know, holding the authorities and holding the government accountable. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as we're still living, there's always going to be a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Always going to be a struggle. But in order for us to do our job, you know, we need to be on the front lines for everything that's happened. You know what I'm saying? So this is one effort which is going to last for a while, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's about people's hearts. You know what I'm saying? And people's hearts are always going to carry some type of hatred and whatnot. But as long as we're always in the front lines, and as long as everybody is educated on it, they may not want to use the education, but as long as we all know about why everything is the way it is, then we should be on the right track. But this is an effort that's going to continue, and we're always going to be fighting. This ain't a trend. So yeah, that's what I would say.
This ain't a trend. Everyone say it louder. Put it in the chat if you agree that this is not a trend, it's a movement. We can't let it die when we're out of isolation and everything's happening again. We cannot let it die. This is not a trend, it's a movement. Cool. So, bro, that's all the time we've got. We got one question from the chat that says, who can make the change?
Who can make the change? Everybody.
Who can make the change, or who needs to make the change?
Everybody. We all need to make the change.
Thank you.
In terms of how we see ourselves as Black people, and in terms of how everyone else see us. And that needs to start from removing all the negative stereotypes that are associated with Black people in terms of, oh, Black people are never on time, or Black people are only good for music and sports. You know, even though that is subtle, we all need to like remove all the negative stereotypes that are associated with us, because racism is not just like a systematic thing, it's a self-conscious thing. And once you embody certain ideas within our conscience, we make it seem like that's normal. That's one thing. But yeah, definitely we can all make the change. We all have a parts to play. We can either be on the wrong side of history or the right side of history. You know what I'm saying? So we all can make the change, but we can all make the change by doing what we do. That's what I'm saying. Some are posting, some are on social media, some are doing community organizations, you know, but we should not pressure each other to do what we would do. We all need to play our part by doing what we could do, because I can make a change, you can make a change, Suzanne can make a change, everybody can make a change, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my answer.
100%. Joseph, you've been absolutely incredible. I am almost certain that people watching this have been inspired by what you've been saying, bro. You are an absolute hero. Thanks so much for joining us. Ellis, I see you. You're in. I see you.
Thank you.
But yeah, Joseph, thanks so much. And yeah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you
for being here, man. All right. Stay safe, man.
You too. Take care.
Take care. Awesome. Wow. There's a lot right now. There's a lot to just digest, but I'm glad that we've got one more guest coming right now. Miss Ellis George. This is actually going to be mad because Ellis, it's been years since I've spoken to you, or since I've seen you. So this is all mad. Oh my god! Hey Ellis, what's up?
I've never used Insta Live before, so I was struggling a little bit. But
yeah, it is.
What a time!
How you doing?
I'm all right, getting through it. It's interesting. I've been at the protest. I went on Wednesday and I went on Sunday, and both times they were really, really lovely. It was interesting to see on social media afterwards because of like how they portrayed it and stuff like that, and you're kind of like, whoa, but it was actually really peaceful and everyone's being really kind to each other, and people were just like, you know, chanting for change, like they're speaking for change. Like some of the things I heard people talking about, like all Black Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter and stuff like that, that was so beautiful for me, because it's not just about, oh, actually, do you know what? We're just going to talk about this one person that it's happened to in America. People are talking about people that it's happened to in the UK. And it's stuff that like you just wouldn't know. Like, I mean, I knew, but some people just wouldn't know. And so, yeah, it was absolutely warming. You felt like you was really in something. You felt like you was really a part of something that was special. Like when we was kneeling down outside of Downing Street and we were saying like, we need change. We need change now. It was beautiful. I've been having discussions with my school because I'm at drama school at the moment. They tried to make a post and basically like lump everything into one. And it was really, really stressful for us to see them not acknowledge Black Lives Matter, just see them be like, oh, actually, we're just going to say everything matters in this way. And it was kind of like, we were like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You've got to pinpoint what it is we're talking about. You've got to be honest about what is actually going on in the world. You've got, sorry, my battery went low, but you've got to be honest about the stuff that your students go through in school. You've got to be honest about the fact that we haven't got Black teachers. And why is that? Why haven't we got any Black teachers? because we need that. I need to go to school and feel comfortable to talk to my teachers. Feel comfortable that there will be a Black therapist in the school. Feel comfortable that I'll be learning about a Black director and learning about Black voice practitioners or movement practitioners and stuff like that. Like stuff that actually, this is stuff that helps me with my casting. It doesn't just help my white counterparts with their casting. It helps everyone. So it's been a really interesting time, if I'm honest. But we're all fighting for change, and it's been hard. I don't think anyone can say that it's been easy. It's been really hard, but it's been worth it. It's been worth it.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it, man. I feel and when it comes to the protest, obviously we've seen Boris Johnson, who's made his speech sort of addressing it, and we see on the news some highlights of it being talked about. But apart from that, in terms of individually, what has the protest done for you, like as an individual? Like, what has it done for you?
I think it's just inspired me. Yeah, the protest really inspired me to go and speak to people at school, go to the teachers at my school and make a change in that way, make a change in the system, not just to speak to friends about it, like speak to my actual principal about it, ask him why he hasn't read books about the Black struggle, about systemic racism. Like, why haven't you hired more Black teachers and stuff like that? I think it is about going to these institutions. It's about going to the higher ups and holding them accountable and saying, actually, we need you to fix this. Yeah.
Fantastic. I got a couple more questions for you, Ellis. One that I would love to shoot. Actually, I'm pretty sure that there was one from the chat. Yes. It says, do you fear speaking up? Will it affect your ability to get jobs in the future?
Genuinely, it is a worry. It is. It's a worry. It's a fear that I feel like a lot of Black people or anyone who's probably a minority would feel. But I can't not speak up. I can't not say anything. I can't sit by and let my people being pushed around forever. It's not fair. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch Black people being treated unfairly. It's really painful, actually. So as much as in the back of my mind, I might be like, oh, actually, what if I don't book this job because actually when I was 21, I spoke out about police brutality and systemic racism. What about if that affects me? As much as I think that in the back of my head, I think if we all speak up together, if we all make this point, if we all talk about it, if we all start buying from Black businesses and supporting ourselves as well, then actually I don't think it will be too bad. I think we'll be able to do this because a lot more people are listening. A lot more people are willing to learn, because it's about learning. A lot of this is stuff that people have been taught, and they don't even realize that it's something that they've been taught. They don't even realize it's so ingrained in them until they realize, oh, that's why when that person is on that side of the road and I'm on the same side, I'm like, oh, let me just hold my purse a little bit more. And it's like, well, if Jordan's down the street next to you, he's not going to touch you. Why would you do that? Your average person isn't just
exactly.
It's not going to happen. If I'm in a co-op, if I'm in a Waitrose, if I'm in any of these kinds of shops, and people see me and they're like, oh, is she gonna? That's inside of your brain for a reason. You don't even realize that you've been trained to feel like that. And I saw a question from Suzanne: if we weren't in quarantine, do I feel like it would be happening? I don't know. I think everyone's finally got the time. Everyone works.
Yeah, for real.
They work 8-hour jobs. They're in their jobs for however long. So when these protests are going on, how many people can come? And because a lot of people are working jobs that maybe they don't even want to work, on their weekends, when they want to be doing something that makes them really happy, when they want to be taking a break from anything serious, are they going to come to that on the weekend? I think it's a great thing that we've managed to have this uprising during a time where no one is doing anything. No one is able to just go out to a restaurant and forget about it. No one's able to just, I don't know, go on holiday and forget about it. It's something that's happening. It's something we can't ignore. It's something that is powerful. It's something that is painful. And I think it needs to be addressed. And I'm glad that people don't have the luxury of being able to just escape it, because it's not something that needs to be escaped. It's something that needs to be addressed.
100%. And so I guess the question would be, because you are spitting absolute fire right now, and we can almost be certain that someone is being impacted by exactly what you're saying. But talk to me about the moment that you were impacted by this movement. What inspired you to wanna speak up?
I feel like I've always it's always just come out for me. It's always something that I'm just like, I wish I could just sit there. I wish I could just be like, I'm not going to deal with this today. But it just comes out. I feel like this time it came out even more because I'm in drama school. Because actually I saw people not reacting the same way that I reacted. Because I saw people that didn't feel as much anger and resistance and pain and hurt as I did. They didn't feel what I felt. They saw it, they carried on about their days, and no one said anything in the group chats. No one said anything in emails. The schools didn't send any of the Black students emails straight away. It took them about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, to send an email to us to say, I'm really sorry that this has happened. And even then, they didn't address it properly. And I think it's stuff like that that made me realize, wow, okay, you guys don't think the same way I do. Because if I had seen someone who doesn't look like me face an injustice in any form, I'd be heartbroken. I would. If I saw a white man being killed by the police, I would still be heartbroken. It's still not fair. They still shouldn't have to die.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's that.
Sick. Honestly, amazing. And so I'd say that my last question is the same last question that I posed to Joseph. And it's when does the Black Lives Matter movement have completed its job?
When they decolonize the curriculums in school, when just about our lives before slavery, when Black people or anyone of color, anyone who is in the LGBTQ plus movement isn't oppressed, hasn't been held down by the superiors, when that stops being a thing, then we can stop talking about it. When we're not treated like other, when we start going to shops and we find tights that are our skin color, when you can go as a Black ballerina and you can find point shoes and you don't have to search high and low to find a pair of point shoes that match your skin color. You don't have to color in your point shoes. When in drama school, they teach us about Black playwrights and they teach us about Black directors and Black voice practitioners. When that stuff starts to become the norm, when there are Black execs everywhere, when they are selling, yes, as Suzanne said, black makeup in Superdrug, black hair products, plasters that are the same skin color as us. And when I'm talking about black makeup, I'm not talking about, oh, okay, well, they've got my skin shade, so it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. It does matter, because it can't just be my skin shade that you guys have. It has to be my friends who are darker than me. You have to have their skin shade in foundation. You have to have contours that match their skin. You have to have concealers that match their skin. When I can go into the industry and they have the exact color to cover my tattoos, that's when we can stop talking about it. When there are black people who are the producers, and that's a norm. It can't just be about, there are actors in front of the screen, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Actors on stage who are black, so it's fine. It doesn't stop at that.
Yeah.
Because who pulls the strings? We need to think, who actually pulls the strings? Who's writing the script? Who's directing it? Who's supervising it? Who's the first AD? Who's the second AD? You have to think about who's lighting us.
Yeah.
Because that is
right?
Yeah, fact. Right? Moonlight was lit beautifully. Beautifully. If Bill Street could talk, shout out Barry Jenkins. Shout him out. Both films have lit black people beautifully. And we have amazing skin. So why would you not like my skin properly? Why? It makes sense to me. So until we are actually seen as the norm and we are respected in the same way as our white counterparts, until they have classical text, that isn't just Shakespeare, until they bring in black teachers, until they bring in black therapists into schools, until they stop putting us into housing and then doing, let me not. But until this systemic racism is stopped, we can't stop saying Black Lives Matter. We literally can't stop saying it until we are treated with the same respect, until we have the same opportunities, until we are loved the same, until black people are able to see their skin color and not think about the way that their white counterparts have bullied them for having it. The way that they've been conditioned to think that being darker is less than. My hair being like this it's I don't care. This is I don't care. This is I am happy. Jordan, I shouldn't have to straighten my hair before I go to an audition or an interview. I shouldn't have to think about, oh, okay, cool. If I'm going to go to an interview, I need to wear my hair like this. As much as I want to be me, they might not accept me. But my white counterparts don't think about that. Yeah. So until that is the case, we're going to keep screaming Black Lives Matter until please stop killing us.
Yeah.
That's that.
You know what, yeah? Everyone just fill the chat with fire. Fill the chat with facts.
Yes.
Fill it with everything.
For real.
Right? Because honestly, wow. I can see, like, it's almost as if, like, because I'm very good at sort of feeling energy off people, but since we've been in quarantine, it's been hard to feel people's energy through, like, text messages, social media. And this is why it's so important that people don't just speak out in text form, but they actually do something with their mouth, or they do something with their face. Because when you see someone's face and you see the emotion coming out of their face, it's so different.
Exactly. It's so different. It's so different seeing people. It's like I had to tell, today we was in a meeting with my principal of the school, and Daniela, who's here with us today on the live. At one point, she started crying. And she said, sorry. I said, you don't apologize. We've been taught too long that we're strong black women and strong black men who don't cry. We're human. We need to see the videos of people being honest and being truthful and seeing the ugly side of this. We can't just see them together. I'm always contained. I'm always calm. I don't do too many hand gestures because it might be offensive. It might seem aggressive. I don't care anymore. I don't need your opinion to dictate who I am. I've worked so hard in therapy. I've worked so hard with people like Suzanne, who from what age was telling me, you need to be you. You need to be you. Especially if we want to be in this industry. You've got to find yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself. And when people come on videos and when people are doing spoken word out of pain, when they are writing these songs, when they are writing these poems, when people are writing these scripts, people need to see it. They need to see the emotion behind their words. They need to see every ounce of us. They need to, because otherwise people see it and they take it for granted. And they think, oh no, but they're fine. But we're not fine. It's traumatizing. It's actually traumatizing to wake up in the morning and see a person who looks like you has died. It's traumatizing when you see that they're 12 years old. It's traumatizing when you see that it's a Black trans woman. It's traumatizing when you find out that the life expectancy for a Black trans woman is 35 years old. It's traumatizing when you see a Black man's died in police custody. It's traumatizing when you find out that in this day and age, white people are still lynching us. It is traumatizing. And then I have to have these chats to inform people because they won't do the work themselves. They won't read natives. They won't read why I'm no longer talking to white people about race. They won't read the new Jim Crow. And they've got to. They've got to understand why they can't touch my hair. They've got to understand why they can't say that they're nearly the same skin color as me because they went to Magaluf. Because baby, just because you went Magaluf doesn't mean you look Black. And it's okay. It's okay. But we don't need you to do it in that way. We need you to understand. We need you to understand what we go through every day. Suzanne's laughing. Don't. But we need you to understand what we go through every day. Jordan, you're an amazing singer. People look at you. Are they going to see that? You're an amazing person. You're a beautiful person. You're a lovely, kind person. People are going to see that when they look at you? It's heartbreaking how talented you are. And that's not the first thing they will see. I had to explain to one of my teachers. I had to explain to him that, do you know what? Even though he has a minority status of he's a gay white man, I said our minority statuses aren't the same. And they're not the same because if someone sees me, they just see a Black woman. Yeah. They just see a Black woman. If I start using my hands too much, they see an aggressive Black woman. If someone saw him and someone saw me, they'd be like, white man, Black woman. That's where our minority statuses differ. I'm a Black woman. I will always be a Black woman. I love my hair. I love my skin color. I sit out in the sun to get darker, to get to my true skin color. My true skin color. I want my hair to be an afro. I don't want to put chemicals in my hair. I don't want to harm my scalp or my brain. I want to teach myself. And that's what I'm hoping that other people will do through this movement, Jordan. On my page, I put up a post where if it's a Black-owned business, they need to just tag themselves. Because that's what I want to see. I want to buy from Black-owned businesses my shea butter from Ghana. I want to buy my shea butter from Ghana. I want to buy hair products. I want to get my house plants from a Black-owned company in West London. I will tag it below on my post. I want to get my bags from Black-owned places. I want to get my clothes from Black-owned places, not places that turn around and call me bad words, not places that appropriate me and how I speak and the way I move and the way I do my edges. I don't want somewhere that appropriates me like that. I want somewhere that loves and appreciates me for the Black woman. I want somewhere that loves you, Jordan. I want someone that loves you because you're too talented for the world to just look at you and see another Black boy. You're too talented. Have these people heard you sing on live? Right. They don't know who Jordan is. We know Jordan. No, we know Jordan. I haven't got time for the Karens of this world. We will stop saying Black Lives Matter when people start getting arrested for calling the police on Black people. We will stop saying it when they get arrested for doing that. We will stop saying it.
For doing that, yeah.
Because that is unsafe. It is unsafe to call the police on Black people. It is unsafe. You are literally, you're playing with their life. You're playing with their life. You're in front of them. You're saying, I'm going to call the police now. I'm going to call the police and I'm going to tell them that it's a Black person. You know what you're doing. Imagine knowing that there are so many people out there just ready to find a way to kill you. And then you've got to go into these institutions. You've got to go into theatres. You've got to go into films. You've got to go into drama schools. You've got to go into your average school. And then you've got to deal with the underlying racism that's not, I'm going to say it to your face, the racism that's, you seem a little disengaged in class. But am I? And that's the question. That's the question teachers need to ask themselves. Yeah.
Yes. Last section.
Joseph. Subtle racism. Yeah. Racism. Yes, thank you very much.
Say it. Still racism. When you cross the street, when you see me, it's racism. When you come up the stairs
like a pet, just know, Karen, you can't, because I'm not a cat and I'm not a dog, and we are no longer kept in zoos.
Exactly. Mate, Ellis, you have been an absolute joy to have, man. Just to see your passion, see your passion and see your fire. Everyone needs to put five fire emojis at least in the chat right now, right? Not just because Ellis is spitting fire, but we can all see the fire that's inside you. Like, honestly, we're like all feeling the flames from our house, like through quarantine. Like, I don't know how you do it.
He was there when I was talking to my principal. Oh God, he felt it. He felt it. It was unfiltered. It was this. Yeah. This is my calm version. The principal, he got.
Ellis, man, you are absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
If you've been impacted by anything said today, make sure that you keep the conversation going. Don't let it stop right now. You know, and make it so you're like Ellis in the sense that you can't not talk or you can't not say anything, despite what you think that your colleagues or even some members of your family might think of you when you speak up, because we know it's so hard for mixed people sometimes to speak up because they don't know what their sort of the white side of their family is going to say. But speak up. If you believe something, then speak up.
Yeah.
Whether that's on social media or speaking to people directly, make sure that you're not just staying on it and crying by yourself because you feel the pain. Let people see your pain, because that's how we move on.
Yeah.
Ellis, you are an absolute god.
Everyone, please make sure you're looking after your mental health. please, everyone, make sure you are looking after your mental health. If you have a therapist, please go and see your therapist. If you haven't, I would consider it, because it's an amazing thing to do and it really helps you out. These situations are traumatic and don't let anyone tell you differently. Please, please, please look after your mental health, and that's all I ask for. Sending everyone love. I'm going to sign out. Thank you, Jordan, for all the questions. Love you lots, guys.
Ellis, thank you so much for coming, man.
Oh.
Take care. Take care, Ellis. Wow. 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 If you've been encouraged today, then please put a thumbs up in the chat. Please put a thumbs up in the chat right now if you've been encouraged, if you've been uplifted, if you've been inspired by anything that all 5 of our guests have said, then put a thumbs up in the chat right now. Thank you so much to Hannah. Thank you to Zach. Thank you to Ella. Thank you to Joseph. And thank you to Ellis for everything that you've said today. As I said, when you speak with your face, when you speak with your mouth, there's a different energy than when you speak with text or you speak on social media. So it's so good to post in text, but I really encourage you that if you're going to say something in person, or say something on video, or even if it's a voice note, just let people see your emotion. Because when people see your emotion, then people will number one, they'll take you seriously, and number two, they'll see your pain, and that can encourage people. I mean, I was seeing things on social media for so long, but I watched one video and that was it for me. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so I'd encourage you to use your literal voice, but yeah, big up everyone who's on this live, big up yourself. This has been an amazing conversation that isn't stopping here. This is not a trend, this is a movement. As Ella said, if your story isn't being told, then don't shy away from your story. Be the first to say your story. And yeah, man, and look after your mental health. Honestly, I feel like those are amazing points that we should take away from this live. So this is Jordan signing out. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us. Again, don't let the conversation stop here, man, because it's time that we stop talking, and it's time that people in workplaces and businesses and anywhere start holding themselves accountable. And if you see injustice, know to react differently, know to not allow it to happen. But yeah, love you lot. Thank you so much for supporting, and also follow Young and Talented, because honestly, everyone here was a former student of Young and Talented, and some of them are even working for Young and Talented right now. And honestly, Young and Talented have been an integral part of why we are the people who we are today. So thank you so much. Suzanne says sing us out. Many because Ellis bigged up my singing so much. What should I sing? Yeah. So recently I sung on my Instagram. I sung a song called Stand By Me. So let me just sing that. Wait, one sec. All right, you asked for this. All right, here we go. Okay. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Oh. stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. There you go. I sang you out. I hope you're happy. Yeah. Fact, Suzanne. Don't be afraid. We won't be afraid. We'll stand together. Let's stand by each other in this time. Not only on socials, but also in our private lives. Make sure that we're always checking up on each other, making sure that we're taking care of each other's mental, as well as trying to take care of our own. Love you all. I'm signing out now. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, go from this with power, with strength, and do not be afraid. And let's stand together. All right, you guys are amazing. All right, peace.